What's up, guys, and welcome back to the DualSense podcast. This is episode 36. We are officially back after getting sidetracked last week. My name is Jason. I'm one of your co-hosts. I'm joined, as always, by my other co-host, Travis, who is still without his microphone, his normal mic. It's he's waiting on a cord. It's stranded in Memphis.
Yeah, it's been there since December.
December, yeah.
It feels like that.
It's walking in Memphis. I could think of a lot more things, a lot more places that I'd rather be than stuck in Memphis. By the way,
Have you ever been there?
I haven't.
I've been there. When we lived in Oxford, it was an hour away. We went to a show, Mythbusters tour there.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, not where you want to be at night. They have a nice pyramid.
Oh yeah, is it a casino or is that
it's
the FedEx
Pro.
Forum?
It's the old
Bass
FedEx
Pro?
one. Yeah, it's a Bass Pro now. So when aliens come down, by the way, only aliens can build the pyramids in Egypt, but we can build a glass one in Memphis for a Bass Pro Shop. It's ridiculous.
you know what? That's a fair point. I never thought about that. That's fair.
Anyway.
So what else is good? Anything?
No, not much. Oh, I had an endurance race today. I won. I won by 8 minutes. We did a 90-minute race. I won by 8 minutes. I don't know what happened.
You killed him. Wasn't even fucking close.
There's no balance of power. We all have the same car group, but there's no balance of power. And I guess my setup was just overpowering. And once I got in the lead, like lap 2. I started 5th, past everybody, and then once I jumped out in front, they started battling, and I just slowly drove away out into the distance. And then I found out later they were like saving fuel and had on like harder tires than me, and I was like, I went full beans. I went like the most grippy tires and most powers. Like fuck it, I just wanted to see how far out ahead I could get, and then I could nurse it back. But
sounded like it worked out.
Yeah, they just beat up on each other for an hour, and by the time they got their shit together, I was so far ahead it didn't matter.
Well, unrelated to racing, I've got to tell you, I've got to get this off my chest before we get going here, and we've got a lot to cover. But I'm a little annoyed for 2 reasons. First of all, I have something going on with the plumbing in my house. I actually already called a plumber today because every time we turn any sort of water on in the hall bath, sink, flush the toilet, shower, we get a water hammer, and then the water just like spits out at us like pow. It just spits out at us. So something's going on. There's air in the lines or whatever. So anyway, call a plumber today. Then fast forward about 4 hours, I get our latest water bill, and it went up from $38 to $60. And the usage is obviously way up. So something's going on, and that really pisses me off. That annoys me greatly. The second thing I'm annoyed about is I told you earlier this week that I bought another PlayStation Vita. I bought an OG Vita, and the 1000 model with the OLED screen. Found one on eBay that hopefully I didn't get scammed on, but I ordered it and the dude shipped it like almost immediately. And it was going to be here not the next day, but the one after, because it was coming from Illinois. That was what the tracking said. Anyway, it's kind of like your cable being stranded in Memphis. Mine is stuck in Louisville, and it's been there since the 23rd. And it said it was supposed to be delivered yesterday.
Nah, some guy saw that and took it home.
So that's really irritating me as well. That it's just sitting there in Loserville.
The original Vita is very nostalgic for me. It's like a PSP Nintendo 64 level nostalgia for me.
Did you ever own one?
I think I owned one for a brief period.
I thought you did. I had one at launch. I had obviously the OG one at launch.
Yeah, I didn't do that.
And I should have just kept it, but like I told John the other day, times were tougher then. So whenever I wanted to get games, I had to trade in the Vita, for credit at GameStop to be able to get a couple games.
So I don't have mine. I don't have my PS3. I don't have my PSP. I had to trade all that in to get the PS4 or whatever level we were on.
Yeah. I remember taking it to work whenever it came out and playing MLB The Show and showing it to Lester. and all that stuff when it came. So just God,
Yeah.
that's so freaking long ago.
Right.
But anyway, let's talk about what we've been playing. What have you been getting into? Anything?
Normal. Yeah, just more
Yeah.
normal races. Did what did we do the other day? I crushed FIFA, about to win the Premier League. And then the new addition this week, I don't know if you want to jump into it immediately or not, is the Outriders demo, which we played last night.
Yeah, go ahead.
I found some of the exposition a little annoying. Um,
Mm,
and
you
for
did.
some reason, I don't, and it sounds hypercritical. I don't mean it to be, but it was just like the guy was like, "Yeah, man, on Earth I could barely breathe the air because of all the smog." And then 2 seconds later, he was like, "What was the last day on Earth right? You're fucking there. What do you mean?" And like, I don't
Yeah.
need 58 cutscenes to tell me the
Mm,
backstory. We could sum that up a lot quicker. But
mm-hmm,
once we started killing people, I had a good time with it. Went with the
mm-hmm.
pyromancer. I was debating on who I wanted to be. I didn't want to be the tank guy because having to get close quarter kills to up my health is a bad thing for me and the way I play
Sure.
any game. But the pyromancer, I like fire, so it seemed like it'd be fun, and it's a blast. I love throwing the fire at people. It's a hell of a time. And just to touch on a couple of things I told you about the other day, I felt like it took the Gears of War color palette. The cover system is a little janky at times. I have the same issue I had with Uncharted, where I don't always get into cover as quickly as I like or get out as smoothly as I like, and that could be mostly
Yeah.
me. I mean, it does not necessarily knock on them, but it is fun. Up to this point, we still have a couple side missions left.
Yeah. The other thing that I thought about today is that we can go back and change our class and we don't have to do the prologue over. Like we can
That's
just
right.
start from after that point. Like if we want to try the other ones. I thought about trying the Technomancer one that was
Hmm.
like the one you throw shit or whatever, throw
Yeah, that would look
gadgets.
cool.
Yeah, I thought about checking that out. So I would agree. The story. I don't think my problem is with the story as much as it is with the execution. It's just
Hmm.
janky. Like the
Right.
cut. I told you that I did not like the cutscenes. First of all, they're janky as hell, and just like the way like the mouths move and everything, and
It's
then
odd.
the camera is just like it's like there's some there's some movie. It's almost like a found footage thing. Like the camera just
Mm.
constantly fucking just like shaking. It makes me want to throw up. It's like the game is 60 frames per second and then the cutscenes are 30. It's
Or 30.
outrageous. Yeah, and then not to mention, like you said, there's one about every 5 minutes right there at the beginning. However, once we got into the combat, I really enjoyed it
Yeah.
quite a
And
bit.
the
Yeah,
secret, the big secret about the game, I think, is that it's hilarious.
it
Like
is.
the writing is actually pretty funny.
I didn't expect that, but I don't really know why not because I think people can fly the developer. I could be getting them confused, but I think that they had something to do with a game called Bulletstorm back in the day, and then of course Gears of War
Okay.
kind of has some little bit of humor to it as well, you know. So it actually there are some funny moments that made me laugh out loud. Wasn't really expecting that, so
Right. So I mean,
I
I
do.
played way worse.
Yeah, I do enjoy it. I don't know if I would pay $60 for it. Like
Yeah, that was my thing.
to me, it's like a $30 game
Hmm.
probably. So, but
And
anyway,
it might be free in 8 months.
true. Yeah. What about anything else, or is that it?
No, that's it.
So I played FIFA as well. You know, just continued through the career mode. I have finally gotten the lads from Bradford City, from West Yorkshire to the championship. So that's imminent in the next season. Played some more Hitman 2. I'm just a couple of missions away from finishing Hitman 2. Played one earlier today where you have to kill like the original founder of
Hmm.
the of Providence or whatever, and there's like these two like black women who are like board members or something like
Right.
that. It was a really fun mission, so I did that earlier, and then I've got a couple left on that, and then I'll move on to 3. Still been mixing in some Rainbow Six Siege, and then I mixed in some Dirt 5 this week a little bit. And then I also had just like a hankering to play some Hunt Showdown, so I re-downloaded it earlier this week and played a couple of games of it. And I played with random people. I didn't want to play by myself, so I just match made with randoms. And I actually the guy I played with, one guy, it was just me and him, and we got in a lobby with no other humans, and he was actually pretty good. His name was the Jaegernator, which I thought was hilarious.
I love
And
names.
anyway, yeah, and so we ended up like he unmuted his mic or whatever, and I ended up doing it too, and which I'd never do that. So, but it was fun, and we killed anything and everything. However, from talking with him, it sounds like he was playing on Xbox. I was playing obviously on PS5, and from talking with him, it sounds like it's a pretty common occurrence that you get stuck in games by yourself now. So it sounds like the player base is way down. So doesn't sound like anything sustainable for the long term. But and then we already talked about Outriders, so that's pretty much it. That's a lot, but it's a good week. So we've got a bunch of news to get into here. A metric shit ton, Travis. The episode is aptly named PlayStation Overload, and there's a number of news stories that deserve to be number one in a normal week, but here we are. So let's jump in. Number one, in an absolute bombshell on Thursday afternoon, website Video Games Chronicle broke the news that Sony Interactive Entertainment is ending original game development at Japan Studio, effectively shutting down the studio as we know it, according to multiple sources. The vast majority of development staff have been laid off in recent months after their annual contracts were not renewed for the next fiscal year, which begins April 1st. Asobi Team, the team behind the Astrobot games, will live on as a standalone studio within Greater Sony Japan, with some Japan studio staff members staying on and moving over to Asobi. This news would explain the flurry of recent high-profile departures from Japan studio, which now includes Bloodborne producer Masaki Yamajiwa. I know I always butcher these Japanese names. And video cinematics director Ryo Sogabe, who both announced their resignations on Twitter earlier this week. VGC reports that there are several reasons for what is essentially the closure of Japan Studio. First and foremost is the fact that the studio has not been profitable enough in recent years, with the developers wanting to create games that primarily appeal to the Japanese market, while SIE wants worldwide hits that are not catered to one particular region. Sony later confirmed in a statement to IGN that, quote, Japan Studio will be recentered to Team Asobi. In addition, the roles of external production, software localization, and IP management of Japan Studio titles will be concentrated within the global functions of PlayStation Studios, end quote. Japan Studio was founded in 1993 and is Sony's oldest first-party studio, Travis. They are known for iconic PlayStation IP such as Ape Escape, Patapon, Gravity Rush, Knack, and Loco Roco, as well as collaborations on Bloodborne, Demon Souls, and The Last Guardian. So, there's a lot there, but what are your thoughts here? It's a
We
big one.
talked. Yeah, we talked a couple months ago, a couple episodes ago, that all these cats leaving must mean something's up. So this is our confirmation or justification of our thoughts. Not, I don't think anybody is greatly surprised. It's just a little, I guess, disappointing. I think all around it's disappointing. I know it really is for uh, Japanese people that live there. I mean, this is their home base. It's kind of sad to see the oldest first party studio die like this. I guess all things die at some point, as is our nature. But it seems like there was a core there that wants to only make games for the Japanese culture or people into that culture. Uh, why not let Asabi stay there and do that? And the people that don't want to do that can move on. That's kind of how I look at it. But it seems like these other guys are leaving to do their own thing, and as opposed to staying as one unit and all going to one place. Does that make sense?
Yeah. So if you look at it, like if you look at that list of IP that they have there, like there's no doubt that some of those are, iconic. Like I said there, like Ape Escape and Gravity Rush is kind of a cult hit, and then Knack was obviously a PS4 launch game. But really, I mean, they their self have not developed totally internally any hit game really.
Yeah.
They've helped on big ones like Bloodborne, Demon Souls. Those are huge games, but they didn't make those themselves. So Even though they're the oldest studio, I mean, it is sad that they're the oldest first party studio. I mean, they're in Japan. That's where Sony is headquartered. So that's unfortunate. And it's really surprising, honestly, that Sony would shut that studio down. But Sony has a history of shutting studios down, like, the studio behind Drive Club when they fucked up Drive Club so bad that it wasn't worth a shit. They closed them down, and they're not the first ones. And Japan studio certainly probably won't be the last one, but Ape Escape might be their biggest original game. And I mean, there was several Ape Escapes. I don't know that they made all of them themselves, but I think Ape Escape on PS2 or was it PS? It probably would have been PS2, right? No, I guess there was a PS1 Ape Escape. I don't remember. Probably PS2,
I
but
think it was on both.
Ape Escape was the first game that used the analog sticks on
Oh,
the DualShock 2. Do you remember that? Did you ever
that's
play
cool.
that? I think it was like on a demo disc. I remember playing that, and I was like, "What do you do with these
That sounds
sticks?"
right. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's wild.
Now it's
But
so natural.
yeah, I know. So anyway, Japan Studio is essentially no more, and Team Asobi is going to kind of do their own thing with Astrobot, which is, I mean, that makes total sense. Astrobot, is a hit, especially after Playroom on the PS5. So
Right.
number two, the top Sony pony himself, SIE CEO Jim Ryan, unloaded a barrage of news this week in a single interview with GQ Magazine UK, of all places. For starters, Ryan blamed PlayStation 5 shortages on both the pandemic and semiconductor shortages, which is affecting several industries around the globe. He also revealed that about 25% of the people who have purchased a PlayStation 5 did not own a PS4 beforehand. In terms of 2021 game release dates, Ryan said that SIE feels good about Returnal, Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart, and Horizon Forbidden West this year, while also taking an apparent jab at Cyberpunk 2077, which is still not for sale on the PlayStation Store 2 months later, stating, quote, "And there are two approaches to this. You can either hold the date and put out the game irrespective of quality, or you can ship it when it's right. There have been some fairly high profile instances of publishers trying the former approach," end quote. When pressed by GQ on the lack of Gran Turismo 7 from the list, which had been dated for 2021, a public relations rep intervened. Following the interview, PlayStation confirmed to GQ that Gran Turismo 7 has been delayed to 2022 due to, quote, COVID related production challenges, end quote. The interview then moved to questions regarding the next iteration of VR, where Ryan revealed that dev kits for a new system were about to go out, among other details which we will dive into here shortly, Travis. Next up was PlayStation games coming to PC, which led Ryan to announce that more games will be coming to PC in the near future, starting with Days Gone sometime this spring. And finally, Jimmy shared that PS Plus subscribers will get more newly released games like Destruction All Stars and Bugsnax as freebies in the future. So, a lot that Jim covered there. He just kind of had diarrhea of the mouth and to GQ UK, which is very odd. But what do you make of any of this?
I imagine him spewing all this information out like Ace Ventura. He just, just
Yeah,
lost his mind.
yeah,
To jump at the beginning, it's nice that we at least have those three games. And we talked before about how we felt like Ratchet and Clank would definitely be this year. Um, that what else did he say? I'm blanking. Oh yeah, Horizon would be this year also. We knew Returnal would be.
Mhm.
So we've talked about those being solid, and we've talked about how we weren't sure about Ragnarok or Gran Turismo. So you notice Ragnarok not mentioned, and
Yeah, it's odd.
Gran Turismo got pushed back. Big shock there, guys. So um,
Yeah, you called that one. You guys are you Gran Turismo guys are so cynical.
well, the way they make the game, the way they like to record sounds and stuff like that, and
Hmm.
model the cars, they like super detailed with the way they model the cars. It makes sense that COVID would hold them back. They just don't have the access they need, would be my
True,
guess. Um,
true.
and we'd rather it be good than be like Cyberpunk, like Jimmy just told us about there, which is hilarious that he
Yeah,
called them out. Love that.
yeah, yeah.
Um, but I'm I'm s- I'm hesitantly, that's not the word I want to use, but I'm cautiously optimistic about this new VR. I think it could be really, really cool, especially if it's integrated to where we could use our hands and without the controller. Maybe I've read some
Mm,
rumors about that. I think that would be really interesting. Unrelated, I read an article about Neuralink that if that comes into existence, that video games would be directly imprinted into your brain. And if that's the case, we wouldn't have consoles anymore, which blew my mind.
that's fucking dope.
That's Yeah, we'll worry about that later. But and I think the coolest news out of all the stuff he said is that we'll have some pretty cool freebie games in the future. All Stars is fun. It's a
Hmm.
good time killer. So it's just fun to break into shit and basically play Twisted Metal and Destruction Derby at the same time.
Right.
But people like Bug Snacks, so it's a cool way. You get it for free for a month and a half. I think that's a cool thing to do. Hopefully, we get some really cool stuff.
Yeah. So couple of things here about what all Jim had to say. I think that the fact that they've been so quiet about God of War and they haven't really said anything since that trailer last year that said 2021, and then you couple that with the fact that Corey Barlog, who was the director on the first one, he tweeted yesterday. I think he said it'll be out when it's done, and
Which is
they,
nice. It makes me feel as a consumer, I
eh,
like that at least. Like they're not gonna fuck
right.
it up.
Right. But that makes me think that he's tempering, expectations. I get it. He gets probably asked the question 1,000 times a day on Twitter, but I don't think I originally thought that it was going to make it this year, and maybe that was originally the plan, or maybe they just said 2021 to sell PS5s. But at the time, I think I was drinking the Kool-Aid a little too much of thinking like, well, they have no reason to say 2021. So, they've got all this other stuff coming out. So if they say 2021, it's going to happen. But I don't think that's true. I think it's been delayed because like we talked about a few weeks ago, if Returnal got delayed first, and then you can pretty much assume that delayed Ratchet and Clank by at least a little bit to June. And then Gran Turismo obviously is delayed to next year, which may have happened anyway. And then now, today, or like literally a couple of hours ago before we started recording, there's a rumor that possibly Horizon Forbidden West has been delayed to 2022, which I really don't see that happening. I just don't think they can't go the fall without a big game from the first
Hmm.
party. They just can't, and I don't remember the last time that they have. So you can't rely on Call of Duty, just having do the shit they always do with them. Like that's cool, but you've got to have something in the chamber. So I just don't see Horizon getting delayed, even if it doesn't come out until December. Maybe I don't see that happening. I think it's going to make it. And then I do agree with you. I think it's cool that we're going to get some freebies like that Oddworld game that's coming in April for free. So that's cool.
Yeah.
Number three, Sony officially unveiled the first details of their next generation VR system that will make its way to the PlayStation 5. In a new PlayStation blog post, SIE's Senior Vice President for Platform Planning and Management, Hideaki Nishino, spilled the beans on what we can expect. For starters, the system will feature dramatic leaps in performance and interactivity with greater immersion. The increased performance will improve everything from resolution and field of view to tracking and input. In probably the most welcome news to PlayStation VR users, this new iteration of PSVR will connect to the PlayStation 5 with a single cord. It will also incorporate some of the key features from the DualSense controller, presumably the haptic feedback and adaptive triggers. And unfortunately, it will be a while longer before players can experience the next generation of PSVR, as Nishino shared that it will not be launching in 2021, although they did promise there will be a lot more info as we get later in the year. So, what do you think about a new VR? Does it interest you at all?
I just want to say for the record that all of these Japanese names sound like battleships to me. I
You're
mean,
right. The
it's weird.
Hideaki.
The EDI, I'm like, okay, cool. That one probably has nukes. I think the VR is cool. One of the things I
Yeah.
never, like I said, I don't like to buy first generation things typically. I bought the first PlayStation 5. That's different, guys. But the VR, I think it'll be really cool actually. And I can sympathize about the cord issue because my racing stuff has a million fucking cords and it's irritating. Like you can't,
Mm,
there's no way
yeah.
to put them together in a way that's neat and looks pretty without
Yeah.
sacrificing the length I need to get to the power cable or the PS5. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
So that would be cool. Thank God. But I want to, like I said, I really want to race with this. So my hope is that it exists in a way where the frame rate doesn't make me want to vomit. That it at least
Right.
gives me field of view, and the way some VR I've seen that you race in once you get it to work, like you can get the Oculus to work with some PC stuff, and it's super weird. Like you're back too far in the car, or it's just the perception is off.
Oh
So
yeah, yeah,
um, I'm sure they'll address all that stuff, and it will at least work with GT7.
yeah, yeah. You know what? They may. That's a good point. They may have delayed GT to be like a because
Like a bundle.
does sport have a VR? Does GT Sport have a VR mode?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so I wonder, like, so if they're going to do this, you've got to have launch games for it. And we talked about last week or the one before, maybe about there's a rumor that a Horizon VR game is being made. And I mean, racing the genre really is perfect for VR, in a way. Like, it's a great genre for it. And
Right.
I think, and I feel like that at some point along the way here, they've talked about having a VR mode for GT7. So
Right.
anyway, I say that to say I wonder if they've delayed that maybe to be a possible launch game. Obviously it'll come to the 5, but maybe it'll launch alongside PSVR 2 or whatever as
I
well.
mean, if that's the case, we
Imagine
won't get it next year either.
if, well, possibly,
I mean,
possibly. I don't know.
they're clearly in the beginner stage of this. Uh,
I don't
I
know.
mean,
I kind of think this might be holiday 2022, like with the VR, which I mean, that could be GT could wait until then. I could
that's
definitely
fucking
see that.
miserable.
But like PSVR, they're gonna launch it around holiday. I mean, I think they're gonna treat it like a console launch whenever they do it. So I could see that
Oh
holiday of
yeah,
2022. But imagine having PSVR with your launch games are, what Jesus Christ, Gran Turismo 7, some Horizon game, and then another Astrobot VR game because they have an Astrobot VR game already. Like that's your 3 launch games.
yeah.
Those are fucking system sellers.
Right. And
So,
Hitman will work on it too.
oh yeah, fuck yeah, forget about that. So I don't know. I've never played VR, any kind of VR, but if it is as good as they make it sound to be, I may try it. Especially if they can figure out a way for VR games to look like less VR y, if that makes sense. Like
Yeah, I know what you mean.
when you see the footage of it, everything looks kind of like blocky. Like it doesn't look very good. Like in it,
Right.
like so that's obviously like a drawback. Like if they can make it look like The Last of Us 2 when I have the headset on, then that will get me in to try it.
Right.
So we'll see what it can do. Number 4, PlayStation treated us to a new and proper State of Play stream this week, Travis, featuring updates and deep dives on mostly games that we have seen before. The stream led off with a look at Crash Bandicoot 4 running on the PlayStation 5 and a breakdown of how it will utilize the system's features. We also got a look at PlayStation 5 gameplay for the upcoming Five Nights at Freddy's Security Breach, as well as a new competitive multiplayer dodgeball game from developer Velan Studio called Knockout City. PlayStation 5 gameplay trailers for Solar Ash and Deathloop were shown as well, with Deathloop looking dope as hell. Housemark shared a new story and gameplay trailer for Returnal, which is also looking dope. And then Lauren Lanning from Oddworld gave us a narrated walkthrough of Oddworld Soulstorm, which will be coming for free to PlayStation 5 via PlayStation Plus on April 6th, as I mentioned a little bit ago. And we also saw a new gameplay trailer for the hotly anticipated Kana Bridge of Spirits, which was announced will release on August 24th. One new game was announced also, Travis, during the stream. Sifu, I think that's how you pronounce it, from Absolver developer Slowclap. It is a single player kung fu game coming to the PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5 later this year. And then finally, the show closed out with Final Fantasy VII Remake Intergrade, which is an upgraded PlayStation 5 version of the game that also includes a bonus episode along with a number of graphical upgrades, which will launch on PS5 on June 10th. All right. So quite a bit that they showed off there. Anything jump out at you or not really?
Um, I just want to say Final Fantasy VII. Still don't care. Whatever. Um, so I watched the Returnal footage, and
Hmm.
I can't justify paying full price for a game that's going to scare me every 2 minutes. I can't handle those little fucking octopusy things that were killing her. I was getting goosebumps watching. I can't do that, and I don't want to. They all had octopus arms. Why can't they just be like aliens with big heads? I don't need that. I don't
uh,
need worms and
dude.
tremors and bullshit like that. It's way too much.
Oh man, dude, I'm
It's
telling you.
awful. Anyway,
Yeah.
love the concept. Can't handle the monsters. Um,
Okay, fair enough.
Deathloop. Oh, it looks cool, but I thought it looked different than some of the other trailers we've seen. It didn't have the same vibe to me as before. Like before, it had this kind of like
Yeah.
goofy James Bondy feel from the old like Sean
Hmm.
Connery James Bonds back in the day. It kind of just felt kind of loose, and it
Yeah.
felt a little more technical and less fun. I think they were trying to show you some of the technical aspects that we haven't seen as much of before, and it kind
Yeah.
of lost some of the flavor I liked about it. And then as the trailer went on, it seemed to get back into that groove with the art style and the music and stuff. So
Hmm.
maybe that was just a marketing editing choice. But the game still looks fun. I'm still gonna buy it. And
Yeah.
the game that I thought looked the coolest was Sifu.
Yeah.
Surprisingly,
That looked dope.
it looked really really cool. I'm not sure what happened when he was on the ground and grew a beard and then got up and fought again. Like I don't know if they were showing
Um.
me like I could change my character or I'm was cryogenically frozen. I'm not sure what happened there,
Hmm.
but it looked awesome.
Yeah. So I read a little bit about Sifu after the fact. I think they put out maybe a PlayStation blog post about it or something. And when you die in the game, you age 1 year. So the more you die, the older you get, but also the weaker your character gets. So you start the game in your most powerful state, young, powerful, whatever. But if you die, you age a year and you lose some of your power or whatever skill.
Perfect.
So that's why you saw the old dude. So if you are trash at the game and you die a bunch, you're gonna end up as an old guy, and you may have a harder time getting through it. Is the way I read it. So, but
So if you
it
suck at the
sounds
game, it only gets harder.
right. Which yeah, that's it's interesting take. So some people may never finish it, but that looked dope. The combat looked really awesome, and then there was one point in the trailer where old boy slammed a guy's head into a bowl of noodles on the counter or whatever. That was pretty awesome. So
Love it.
I've got that on my list for sure. And then Returnal, you disappoint me greatly. I'm telling you, I'm going to stand by what I said several weeks ago. I think that will be a 90 plus game on Metacritic. I can feel it in my plums. I think it's going to be a 90 plus on Metacritic. And you know what? If I'm wrong, I don't give a fuck. So, but if I'm right, I look like a genius. But I'm just
It's
telling you,
the, it's the same reason
it,
I don't play Resident Evil. I don't want to be terrified.
it's not the same. Like here, I don't
What
mean,
hap- What happens is I'm trying to get away from the octopus, and normally, like when we play a game, like last night, I was trying to get away from all those clowns that were shooting at us, that were whatever they
oh,
were, and
yeah.
whatever it doesn't bother me. Or like on the Division, I'm running around and it's fucking chaos, but I can like keep my bearings. What happens
Mm,
is the octopus man demon thing chases me, and I
mm-hmm.
get freaked out and like to the point where like my hair's standing up on the back of my head and like I can't process information. So like when I
uh,
needed, all I gotta do is take cover and throw a grenade. That's all I have to do. But my brain is just like, get the fuck out of here. So I'm just running in circles and I'm just getting stuck on walls that aren't. I can't get through doorways. That's what happened. I just panic. I can't handle it, and I don't
imagine
like
what type
that.
of imagine what type of dreams you would have if you played Returnal.
They're
Like,
bad enough the way they are anyway.
oh man, that would be awesome. I can't even imagine Deathloop, and then the last thing, Deathloop. I think that I do agree with you. I thought that something was off a little bit about the trailer. Like it definitely wasn't as good as the other ones that we've seen so far. However, today IGN's doing some type of like game fest or something like that. I don't know, fan fest, and they gave them an exclusive trailer for the game that I think was different from the one that we saw from Sony's thing. And they had like the game director like kind of like he was in it and he was explaining things. It was actually pretty funny, and it was like that Always Sunny in Philadelphia thing where like the guy's got all the string lines everywhere and
Yeah.
shit. He was basically doing that bit, and it looked way better than whatever we saw at the Sony State of Play. And so
Hmm.
it looks good. That game's gonna be good. It looks
Right.
really good,
And
and
I want
I'm
to
using
say one more thing.
yeah.
Solar ass.
Solar ass. It does look like some solar ass to me. I'm sure people probably think that game's going to be awesome, but that's
Cool.
definitely not for me.
Well, they can play Cannon Bridge and Spirits together.
Dude, all right. Kano looks actually kind of good. I'm not gonna
Yeah.
lie. I'm
Well,
not gonna pay $40 for it. I'll pay 20 maybe, but
if I want to play a fucking Disney story, I'll play United Kingdom Hearts or whatever it is.
oh man. All right. Number 5, the long rumored return of Twisted Metal is upon us, just not in the way you may be expecting. Variety reported this week that Sony Pictures TV will be developing a television series in collaboration with PlayStation Productions based on the iconic PlayStation franchise. Rhett Reese and Paul Wernick, the writers behind Deadpool and Zombieland, respectively, have signed on to executive produce in the action comedy. Michael Jonathan Smith, who most recently wrote and produced Netflix's Cobra Kai, will write and also executive produce the series. Variety reported, quote, the show is about a motor-mouthed outsider who is offered a chance at a better life, but only if he can successfully deliver a mysterious package across a post-apocalyptic wasteland. With the help of a trigger happy car thief, he'll face savage marauders driving vehicles of destruction and other dangers of the open road, including a deranged clown who drives an all too familiar ice cream truck, whom fans of the game will know as Sweet Tooth. End quote. All right. So, what do you think about it being a TV series?
It sounds a lot like Death Race, like with Jason Statham.
Mm, yeah.
Um, why are there men that go by three names? Michael Jonathan Smith. It's the same as women with a hyphen in their last name. Like you're not
Right.
that important. It's
Michael
fine.
Smith is Michael Smith is maybe Michael Smith is very generic, but so he wanted to add the Jonathan, but
Look,
you
I'm not
can't
sure
get more
Jonathan helps.
plain. Right. I was about to say you can't get more plain than Michael Jonathan Smith. I mean,
Right.
if it was John Jacob Smith or something like that, maybe like that's the only way you get more plain. But anyway, I
You
hear
mean
you.
Jingleheimer Smith?
John Jacob Jingleheimer Smith. Yeah.
Rhett appears named after Rhett Atkins, so that's
Yeah.
nice. Um,
Yeah. Rhett
but
Reese.
that being said, those three guys have made shows or movies both that are good and acclaimed. So it has it has the potential to be really good. It'll be interesting. I'm not. I need to see it. I need to see like a trailer, or I need to see some pictures or
Yeah.
something. I'm having a hard time putting it
Yeah.
all together in my head, just based off of the
Right.
characters I remember and how that all dovetails together. I guess it's kind of like the Marvel universe, though. You kind of pick and pull what you want. So
Right.
from that perspective, I think it could be pretty cool.
Right. It's I don't know. I'm mixed about it. I guess it could be good. This sounds like it's probably going to be a Netflix show. They haven't said that, but they've got the dude from Cobra Kai, which is on Netflix now, and I don't know. I mean, I don't know who else would pick this up. The other thing is like, do are people going to see like a Twisted Metal TV show and be genuinely interested in it that
Good,
didn't play
good
PlayStation
question.
1 or PlayStation 2? Like, I don't know. I just feel like it's a weird show to pick for a TV series. I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know how about that. It's
I
I
would
mean,
be more.
if it's a video game, that's one thing. It's like Destruction All Stars. Now imagine if Destruction All Stars was a TV show. I
Yeah,
just
like
don't have a hard time envisioning it. I'm like you. I need to see a trailer or something.
I would be more interested in a show that shows me how they build the cars replicated from the video
right.
game. That would be way more
right.
interesting to me.
Right. We'll see. We'll see about that one. That's out of the ones that we know about. The Last of Us, and then the Uncharted movie, like this one's definitely number 3 for me in terms of interest
Mm-hmm.
and confidence.
100%.
Number 6, following the class action lawsuit filed against Sony last week regarding Joystick Drift and the PlayStation 5's DualSense controller, a YouTube tech channel run by the iFixit crew published a teardown video detailing the issue of Joystick Drift. According to the video, the malfunction revolves around the joystick's potentiometer. Aren't you proud of me? Which
That's very good.
manufacturer Alps says has an average lifespan of 2 million cycles, which sounds like a lot. However, for reference, the iFixit crew estimates that this equates to around 400 hours of playing Call of Duty Warzone. They also label the problem as both, quote, predictable and preventable, end quote, which surely does not bode well, Travis, for Sony's defense in their upcoming class action lawsuit. So, what do you think? You can get 400 hours of Warzone out of a controller in theory.
That seems like a lot. Well, I mean, it is Warzone, so you just kind of sit there with your thumb up your ass. So I don't really know if that is a lot.
Maybe, yeah,
Have you
that's
have
true.
you gotten?
I don't
Are you
know.
close to 400 hours on your 5 yet? I feel like we're close to 400
Uh,
hours. Or am I crazy?
yeah, gotta be.
So
Yeah, I would say so.
look,
Yeah.
listen. Does your joystick drift?
No, but as you know, I have lost
You lost your
an adaptive
triggers,
trigger already. Yeah, I
right?
lost a trigger. So
Right. Yeah, I
I
don't
will
know.
say though, I have had drift. Now that I say that, when I was playing Red Dead, there's been times where, you know, the camera will just pan up, for no reason. Like I'm just standing there, like looking at like Twitter or whatever for a second, and then I'll just see the camera just like raise up, and I'm like, what is this shit? And then so that has happened to me on the 5. So, but it's not like it doesn't happen every time I play. Like if I
Right.
let off of it, my guy doesn't keep running in that direction. It's just it's been
Uh,
intermittent. But so I don't know.
what are they? What
But
are
it
they
sounds
called?
like, go ahead.
Why are they called "I fix it" and they don't fix it? That's just honest question. I'm not. I don't understand.
Right. It sounds like I break it down.
Yeah, it sounds like you took it apart and then didn't fix it.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah.
Who
You
figured
break,
out
I fix.
2 million cycles is a lot? Preventable and predictable. Sony's going to say, "How did you figure that out?"
Right. Well,
Oh,
so I watched these guys. The whole video is like 8 minutes. I watched the whole thing, and apparently, literally, PlayStation controllers, Xbox controllers, like every video game controller uses the same potentiometer, like from this company. They're all the same. It's the exact same. They're just different locations, basically, obviously within the controller. So if Nintendo didn't get a class action lawsuit and Xbox hasn't got one, I just don't know how people are going to take down Sony for it. But that's
yeah, well
probably
then,
their
if
defense.
they're using the same potentiometer, then sue that company, not Sony. Like it sounds like it's an exclusive part that is
Right.
very difficult to make. Would be my
Right.
assumption. I don't know. It
Yeah.
just can we worry about something important?
Right.
Like to me, it's just like buying a new controller. Like I can't sue Goodyear when my tires last 60,000 miles or whatever. Like
Yeah.
it is what it
That,
is. At a
that's a
certain
good
point,
point. Oh yeah. If you took every turn at 45 miles an hour, you're probably gonna warp your tires. I mean, I don't know. If you play 400 hours of Warzone, which sounds awful, you're probably gonna break your potentiometer. Number 7, a longtime employee of PlayStation first party studio Insomniac Games has ditched Xbox to return to his former team, Travis, as Drew Murray has rejoined the studio as principal designer, according to website PlayStation Universe. Murray, who spent the last 2 years developing the Perfect Dark reboot at Xbox's first party studio called The Initiative, was previously at Insomniac from 2005 to 2015, where he worked on both Resistance 2 and 3, as well as Sunset Overdrive for the Xbox and Ratchet and Clank, future Tools of Destruction. Any thoughts on Drewski coming back?
I don't remember. Right, I don't remember Resistance 2 and 3. I don't remember Resistance 1. I assume you did some
Yeah.
resisting against some people.
Yeah.
Um, I
Yeah.
don't know. I read that as he returned as Drew Murray. Like he used that's his name now. Like he was somebody else before.
Yeah. Sorry. Yeah. He used to be, his name used to be, Aloysius Anaganye, and he's
Yeah, there he
now
was.
Drew Murray.
He was
He's now
he
Drew
was
Murray again.
Daphne Murray, and now he's a man.
That happens too. So couple things. First of all, I only played a little bit of Resistance 1. I never finished it. I don't think I played 2 or 3. And those are games that I would love to go back and actually play. And I know those are games that a lot of fans want to see, like one of the, a remastered collection or whatever for those on the 5 maybe, which would be dope. I would love to play those because they're pretty well regarded, and I don't know. I don't think I played them because I was more into like Call of Duty and Battlefield then, and I only had so much bandwidth for shooters at the time. And then Sunset Overdrive is like very well regarded, but obviously it never came to PlayStation. So I think it would
Right.
be cool if that came now that Sony owned. Well, I don't know if Sony owns the IP or not because they bought the studio. Microsoft may still own it, so they may have to work something out there. But that would be cool if it came to PlayStation. But I think that them bringing Drew Murray back might possibly mean that he's working on one of these old IP
Hmm.
because they already have Spider-Man.
Right.
It's, it's rolling. They have Ratchet and Clank. It's rolling. They have directors for both of those. So, but it's hard to imagine. It's at the same time, we've talked about this. I can't imagine that those guys are making 3 games at one time.
Right.
So
It's a
I don't know
remaster,
what.
though. Is it really? I guess it is making, but it isn't.
True. That's true. Yeah. So it's hard to. I don't know what Drew's going to be working on, but
I'll
I
tweet
mean,
at
I
him
don't think
later.
that. There you go. But I don't think they need him. Like they don't need him. Like they don't have a gap anywhere right now. Is what I'm trying to say. Like they're glad to have him. I'm glad he's back, but like they don't need him. They
Yeah.
don't have a gap right
Yeah.
now anyway.
Yeah.
There's no hole to fill. So I don't know. Maybe he's going to do Resistance. Maybe Sunset Overdrive. I guess we'll see. But he ditched Xbox. He like that's a big game that that's maybe one of their biggest first party exclusives that they've got in the pipeline. And he ditched them. So fuck you, Xbox. Number 8, Anthem developer BioWare announced on Wednesday that their reboot of the multiplayer live service game called Anthem Next has officially been canceled. The staff working on Anthem Next will now transition to the teams working on the new Mass Effect and Dragon Age titles, as well as updating Star Wars The Old Republic. Although no new development will be taking place on Anthem, the game's live service will continue running for the foreseeable future. Any thoughts?
It's a foreseeable ending to a dumpster fire that's been going
Yeah.
on for a year. I think
Yeah.
when we all saw the news that they were going to review this last week, we're like, okay, they're going to can it. There's the amount that they would have had to have improved in the last 12 months was exponential. If I was
Yeah.
them, I would have felt like I was beating a dead horse for 12 months.
Yeah.
But adding more people to Mass Effect and Dragon Age, you hope that helps there. I think those two games have a lot of potential um, to be
Yeah.
your whatever you want to call them, your 90 level scores or mid 80s at least. We'll see, but you know they needed. I feel like they should have moved on 12 months ago. But hey, I get it. I get it. You put a lot of money in it.
They've wasted a lot of time on this, quite frankly, and I mean for nothing. I mean the only cool thing really about that game was the flying mechanics. Like they nailed that. Like that was the only cool thing about it for me. So and everything else was pretty unremarkable. So and nothing that we hadn't seen before. So it's no surprise that it's dead and that they are moving on, which is good because I think that obviously Mass Effect and Dragon Age is where that's their roots. That's where their bread is buttered, and um, those will be big games for them. Number 9, PlayStation announced the March freebies for PlayStation Plus subscribers this week. Final Fantasy VII Remake on PlayStation 4 headlines the list, Travis. I know you're looking forward to that. Although it should be noted that claiming this version of the game will not entitle players to the free upgrade on PlayStation 5 later this year that we discussed earlier. Also, free in March are third-person survival action shooter Remnant from the Ashes, as well as sci-fi VR shooter Farpoint on the PlayStation VR, and first-person recursive puzzle game Maquette, which is the month's free PlayStation 5 game. Destruction All Stars will also remain free to PlayStation Plus subscribers through March as well. What do you think of the lineup here?
Um, Not exciting for me, but I can see why it's exciting for a lot of people. I like to give Final Fantasy a lot of
Mm-hmm.
shit, and I know it's a beloved game,
Yeah.
and that's cool. And putting it on PlayStation Plus for free is an easy way for people like me who just refuse to play it. It gives us no excuse to try it, and that's good for the IP. I think
Mm-hmm.
that
Yeah.
what was the game you sent me earlier? Remnant? Is that what you sent me earlier?
Yeah, it was the Remnant game. Yeah.
So yeah, we'll give that a go. I think that looks interesting. It's free, so why
Yeah.
not? I watched a little bit of the maquette. It's not my thing. I don't know what I expected, but it just looks kind of clunky and weird.
Yeah. I had to
You know,
watch it too. I was
I
curious.
was like, what is happening? But yeah, I think that
I
the
didn't know. I
remnant
didn't
will be
know.
interesting.
Yeah, I didn't know what recursive meant until I watched the video.
And so you write
Had to figure. I was like,
recursive backward.
right, yeah. So they've got like I mean, if you watched it, it's like you have the little like diorama and you manipulate it and it changes the kind of bigger world. Anyway, that is kind of neat, but I don't think I'll ever play it. So I'll
Right.
claim it though. I always claim them. So yeah, I agree with you. I think that it is a big month. Like overwhelming majority of people are very positive about it online, and mainly because of Final Fantasy VII Remake alone, it's a big one. But it's not for me. No interest in that, but I get it. And then I do want to try that Remnant game though, because I didn't know what that was, and I
No,
was like,
neither.
I looked it up, and yeah, I looked it up, and it actually looks kind of cool. So I thought we would give that a shot since it's free. And then, I don't have VR, so whatever fart noise there. Uh, and then, like I said, Maquette, I don't know if I'll ever play that, but I'd have to really be in the mood for that to play that. And I think that's a game that would put me to sleep if I'm being real. All right. Now, number 10, Travis, we have a ton of news nuggets here. And feel free to jump in as always. First nugget, PlayStation is bringing back their Play at Home initiative, which last year gave all PlayStation owners Journey and Uncharted, the Nathan Drake collection, free of charge. This time around, we're getting 2016's Ratchet and Clank Remake, available for free starting March the 1st, and it will be replaced by another deal on March 25th. Pretty cool.
Yeah, I like this. I like that I can play this. I feel like I should play that Ratchet and Clank before the new one. It gives me no excuse. It's like the Final Fantasy thing. It gives people like me no
Mm-hmm.
excuse to try these games that are renowned.
It's also for PlayStation 5 PS Plus members. It's on the PlayStation Plus collection if you have a PlayStation 5. So you can go ahead and play it now. You don't have to wait until Monday. You can do it now. Bloomberg's Jason Schreier reported that following the success of Jedi Fallen Order and the failure of Anthem, that publisher Electronic Arts has given Dragon Age developer BioWare the green light to transition from a live service game to a strictly single-player RPG. Thank Christ.
Yeah, for real.
Glad they learned their lesson on that one. They obviously cannot handle that shit. Bloomberg also reported this week that Sony plans to unlock the PlayStation 5's storage expansion capability this summer, as well as issuing a firmware update that allows users to control the cooling fan speeds.
Cool.
It's interesting.
Dude,
Sounds like a disaster.
Yeah,
by the way.
September 1st, we're gonna get somebody left the fan on full speed and caught on fire. Like 100%.
God Almighty. What does that mean? Why do they think that's a good idea? I have so many questions.
I want it to be regular. I don't have to think about it. I don't want to be in the middle of a boss fight. I'm like, man, I think it's a little hot. I should turn this thing up. Like, just do it for me. I'm stupid.
I mean, yeah. What's the fucking point of that? Like, I don't understand. Like, that shouldn't even be an option. Just tell it to run however fast or slow it needs and not make my shit catch on fire. That's it.
Right.
Like, I don't need to have any say in that. Like, I don't know.
I used to run like a little bitty desk fan behind my PS4 and blow it into the console when we lived in Oxford because it would get so fucking hot down there in the summer, and like that was the only way I could keep it from overheating in the on the entertainment center. Even though it was open in the back, it would still get it was like I guess the heat sink wasn't good enough because it was 195 degrees outside.
It was it's balls hot out there. Balls sticking to your leg type of weather.
It is.
Are you gonna expand your storage when you can?
Oh, I probably will have to at some point, especially if Call of Duty's 700 gigabytes. Somebody said like it's not going to fit on. Is that on here?
Yeah, it is.
All right, never mind.
Yeah, don't steal our thunder. Don't steal it. I'm also going to expand. I think I'm just gonna whenever it's able to do it. I'm just gonna bite the bullet. I'm just gonna get a 1 terabyte expansion.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna do it. I'm gonna just be fucking done with it.
Yeah.
And have 1.6 terabytes or whatever, and just be done. And then I can just have everything that I want, no question. Next nugget here, Destruction All-Stars developer Lucid Games revealed that the game will cost $19.99 once its free period on PlayStation Plus concludes at the end of March, which is much more reasonable than the $69.99 that they were going to charge. Definitely would not pay $70 for that game. $20 that's totally fair. So, yeah. Website Push Square reported that the online update for Watchdogs Legion will finally hit the game on March the 9th. Players will be able to free roam with up to 3 friends and complete various activities, as well as co-op missions. That a free trial week will come to Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War alongside the new Season 2 content update from February 25th through March 4th, so right now. That Final Fantasy 16 will be an action-oriented experience according to producer Naoki Yoshida, but will also feature a mode focused on story.
What is the other ones about? What do you mean action oriented? Like, was I just hitting X and watching a movie?
I think it's more of like it's not turn based. It's not so much turn based combat. It's like hack and slashy. I'm trying to think of something to compare it to. You know what I mean? It's like Yeah, it's just like straight. Like I'm just chopping shit up. I'm shooting shit, whatever.
That's one of the reasons I don't like turn-based fighting. It's the same reason I never got
Right.
into Pokemon. I was just like if your stats are better than them and you're taking turns, like then I should just kill it. I shouldn't have to go through 5 turns while their HP goes down. Like I don't get it.
Yeah, I get that. Push Square also reported that publisher Activision Blizzard confirmed that a remaster of Diablo 2 called Diablo 2 Resurrected is coming to both PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5 later this year. That trophy lists for PS5 versions of both Hunting Simulator 2 and Mortal Shell have appeared online, meaning that releases are imminent. And in fact, I believe Mortal Shell is launching next week on the 4th, I think. Push Square reported that Cyberpunk 2077 developer CD Projekt Red announced on Wednesday that the game's next big update, patch 1.2, has been delayed until the second half of March due to the recent cyber attack at the Polish studio.
How does that
There
make
was a
sense?
report that came out, Travis, that because of the cyber attack, that all of these employees that were working from home had been locked out of their work computers, basically, and a lot of them had their personal information stolen. So they haven't
Really?
been working for 2 weeks, basically. So
Well, yeah. Why
yeah,
don't they
so
let's just put a bullet in it like Anthem. Just forget it. We tried.
Jesus Christ, guys, just go fuck off for a while and just forget about the PS4 version and just come back with the PS5 or the next gen version. How about that? That's what they should have done from the get go. Jesus. Push Square also reported that RPG Vampire: The Masquerade Bloodlines 2 has been delayed out of 2021 and may never even see the light of day, Travis, as publisher Paradox Interactive announced that developer Hardsuit Labs has been removed from the project. Wow. And that according to GamesBeat's Jeff Grubb, Microsoft intends to reveal its future plans for Bethesda sometime in mid-March, following their $7.5 billion acquisition of the mega publisher. There's a rumor today that event will be March the 23rd, so we may find out the fate
And what do they
of the
call the
future
event?
Bethesda titles.
What do they?
I think it's something like Game on Xbox or some shit is what they're going to call it.
Something retarded. Like what's next? I'm like, God, you sound like such
Yeah.
fucking like Silicon Valley nerds. Can we just
Yeah.
like State of Play? That's awesome.
Yeah, it is. You're right. It's what's next on Xbox.
What's
That's
next
what
on
it was.
Xbox? Okay, I don't know. It's like I'm watching TV Guide channel.
Oh man, the TV Guide channel. Those were simpler times. Website PlayStation Lifestyle reported that developer CD Projekt Red has begun using DMCA copyright takedowns to limit the spread of stolen game source code from their recent data breach. That Chinese megacorporation Tencent has acquired yet another minority stake, this time in developer UltiZero. That Electronic Arts says it will treat its new acquisition, Codemasters, as an, quote, independent group for the foreseeable future, end
Thank you.
quote.
Just give them money and let them do what they do. Just give them a
Yeah, just
fuckload
give
of
them
money. Go
and
for
then
it.
fuck off.
Yeah.
Fuck right off. Let's see here. PlayStation Lifestyle also reported that Little Nightmares developer Tarsier Studios will be moving on to new IPs after losing the rights to the IP following their acquisition by Embracer Group. If I can talk. That Hitman 3's February update has arrived and includes fixes for various glitches and crashes, as well as adding a new tactical turtleneck outfit. Are you a fan of the turtleneck? Turtleneck guy?
That's what we were missing was a turtleneck. I like the fake turtlenecks that the Jews wear, where it's just like a little square. Now, I'm not using the term Jews derogatorily. It's just that's what they do.
Like a dickie.
Yeah, is that what it's called? Like a dickie.
Yeah, I think they call it a dickie.
Jews like turtlenecks because they're not circumcised.
Oh god. So I gotta admit, in elementary school, this guy loved turtlenecks.
You did?
I wore turtlenecks. I wore turtlenecks in the wintertime. Like it was my fucking job. So.
Do you wanna know a embarrassing secret about me that I'm gonna put out right now?
I mean, if you want to, go ahead.
I used to wear turtlenecks, and at night I would push the covers up around my neck so vampires couldn't bite my neck.
Oh, that's good.
Hey, it works. I never got
bit. No, you never did you? Never got bit, did you? I love the idea that you thought that the turtleneck I mean, this is just kid stuff. Like,
It's just dumb kid logic. Hey, it's a T-shirt.
You thought the turtleneck like would be enough to stop a vampire's teeth from going through the like it couldn't get through it to the neck if it wanted to.
Yeah, like,
if vampires were a thing.
Yeah, like the vampire comes in the bedroom, he's like, God damn it, he's wearing a turtleneck.
He's wearing a fucking turtleneck. Good God. Oh man, that's good. Whew. Okay, where was I? All right. Yeah, turtlenecks. PlayStation Lifestyle, Travis, reported that Electronic Arts has filed a patent for technology that allows players to stream full games while they're downloading in the background. It's kind of neat.
Huh?
So when you download the idea is when you start downloading a game, you can play it immediately. You don't have to wait for it to download. Like,
how can you do that if the game is on your thing?
So the idea is like it's almost like you'd be like playing a Google Stadia game while it downloaded in the background. So you don't have to wait for 20 gigabytes to download before you can start playing the game. Like you hit download and you start playing immediately. So it basically eliminates that little bit of waiting time.
Why would you download it then? Why would you just not stream it?
Well, because people it'll eat up your data caps. The streaming games takes up a lot.
All right.
But you can do it for 10, 15 minutes, whatever. It's no big deal. But if you did it all the time, you'd be eating that shit up like Kobayashi. PlayStation Lifestyle, Travis, reported that MMOs Defiance and Defiance 2050, which Jacob Marshall loved back in the day, will have their online servers shut down on April 29th.
Tough loss for him.
It is, yeah. I don't think he can handle it. That base PS4s can no longer hold full installs of Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War and Call of Duty Modern Warfare Warzone at the same time. As those two games alone, as those two games alone exceed the available hard drive space. What a fucking joke.
So that's what I was going to ask, because that's a $500 gigabyte download on the PS4, and the PS5 has some different compression, so it's not as big, but we're not that far off from this being a problem on the 5. And I think they might have strategically. It's nice that the same week this comes out, we also find out that they're going to open up the storage over the summer on the 5. It's kind of interesting.
It's like Activision was like, hey, PlayStation, can y'all put that news out? We're looking like dicks right now.
Yeah, so. You drop that shit.
Doesn't make any sense. Like, I get that, like, Modern Warfare, okay, they use the photorealistic, graphics or whatever. Like, okay, I understand a little bit. But, like, think about all the games that are not as big as either one of these games. Like, fucking Red Dead Redemption and The Witcher. Like, every other open world game that's gigantic is not the size of this. It doesn't make any sense. Like, what is taking up so much fucking space? Like
it's filler.
You have 10 maps and 30 guns. Like, what are we doing? I just don't get it. I don't know. Whatever. I'm going to get mad. PlayStation Lifestyle also reported that U.S. Illinois Congressional Representative Marcus Evans has introduced a bill to ban the sales of all violent video games in the state of Illinois.
Hey, Marcus, I got something for you. Listen, we do this every 3 or 4 years. Some guy thinks he's going to be a hero. Listen, if you actually look at the research, video games don't make any kid violent. I played all the Grand Theft Autos. I was playing top-down Grand Theft Auto when I was fucking 6. And what's crazy is, like, whatever gets you hard as a male when you're between 10 and 13 imprints on you sexually. That's what arouses you for the rest of your life. But I've murdered 1,000 people a day on GTA, and I'm not into that. So my point is, we should worry more about sex maybe being sold to kids than a violent video game. Because Jesus Christ, guys, people are dressing up like Barney and fucking each other. Like, we have bigger problems than people playing GTA or Ghost of Tsushima or whatever. Just slap a rating on that bitch, and their mom has to buy it for them. Like, that's what we're doing anyway. I don't understand.
I don't know. I don't get why we have to do this so much. Like, it's been proven. Like, there's so many bigger fish to fry. Whatever.
Yeah. Isn't he like trying to rebuild his police department after they defunded it or something? Like, worry about that.
Yeah, probably. That might be Minneapolis, but
whatever.
Same thing.
It's whatever. It's cold.
PlayStation Lifestyle reported that Superman and The Witcher 3 actor. Well, I'm sorry, not The Witcher 3. The Witcher television series actor. It's just on the brain. Henry Cavill has seemingly teased a Mass Effect television series on his Instagram, which has people excited.
It's a video game actor.
He is. And they also reported, Travis, that Dying Light 2 developer Techland is the spotlight of a recent report outlining the apparent shambles the studio and development of the game is in, with one developer noting that, quote, upper management is harder to change than the spin of the fucking earth, end quote.
I love it. Oh, God.
Yes, it's not looking too good for
Yeah.
Dying Light 2.
I wonder if he works for a bunch of boomers or just a bunch of guys who think they know everything.
I think it sounds like a bunch of guys who think they know everything.
That's
so
hilarious.
This game was supposed to come out in 2019.
Right.
Here it is. Here it is, February 26th of 2021, the year of our Lord. So
Marcus Evans isn't going to let him release it in Illinois anyway.
Right, and might as well just cancel the motherfucker. They don't need it anyway if you can't have it in Illinois.
Right, but we can watch UFC.
Website PlayStation Universe reported that Dirt 5 got its 3.0 update this week, which added new content for Year 1 Pass owners, free content for all players, and also fixed trophy glitches on the PlayStation 5 version of the game. That the highly anticipated hardcore RPG Elden Ring from developer From Software has been given a provisional PEGI 16 rating, which might suggest that the game is content complete. PlayStation Universe reported that a new 3-part Far Cry comic series from Dark Horse Comics called Far Cry Rite of Passage will debut on May 19th and will focus on the Far Cry 6's villain, Anton Castillo.
Conspiracy Me thinks that this is a distraction while the game gets delayed.
Oh, that's okay. So we have different theories. So that's a good one though. I never thought about that.
What's yours?
My theory is that this is coming out around the launch of the game.
Oh, like a prelude?
That this is coming out either right before or like same day, something like that. I think the 19th is like a Thursday though. I don't think that adds up, or a Wednesday, but yeah, I think this may come out around the same time as launch. But your theory is good too. We'll see. PlayStation Universe reported that Monster Truck Championship will come to PS5 on March 11th in Europe and March 16th in the US. That Need for Speed Hot Pursuit received a 4K 60 frames per second PS5 and PS4 Pro update this week. That JRPG Sword Art Online Alicization Lycoris has received a new 1.30 update that adds new story content as well as bug fixes. And literally the only fucking reason I put this in here is just so I could say the name. It's so why name a fucking game? Why name a game that? Sword Art Online Alicization Lycoris.
Yeah. Alabaster Clitoris.
Let me alicize your Lycoris, your clitoris. All right. PlayStation Universe reported that multiplayer survival game Rust will soon get a closed beta on PS4 as players have begun receiving sign-up emails from publisher Double 11. That a Destroy All Humans 2 remake was apparently teased in a new trailer for the remake of the original Destroy All Humans. That Ubisoft Montreal is actively working on crossplay and cross-progression functionality for Rainbow Six Siege. That publisher Paradox Interactive is looking into bringing their most popular PC strategy games to consoles such as Crusader Kings 3 and Hearts of Iron. That a rumor has surfaced that Life is Strange 3 is in the works at developer Deck 9 and it will feature 5 episodes. That Final Fantasy VII Remake Part 2 will be directed entirely by the first game's co-director, Naoki Hamaguchi. That new rumblings on games forum Reset Era suggest that an acquisition deal between Bluepoint Games and Sony Interactive Entertainment is done. It's very interesting. And I thought about this. I forgot to bring this up when we talked about Japan Studio, but just really quick, the fact that they are basically like cutting the fat, with Japan Studio makes me wonder if they're going to relocate or reallocate that, those assets, that cash basically into buying a new studio or operating a new studio.
I can see that.
I wonder. Yeah. So I'm curious about that. If we're going to get something this year as far as an announcement, we'll see. And finally, PlayStation Universe reported that a new rumor from the same person who accurately leaked the PC version of Horizon Zero Dawn claims that the sequel, Forbidden West, has been delayed to 2022, as we mentioned earlier. I don't believe that, though. We'll see. Website Gematsu reported that multiplayer party racing game Can't Drive This will launch digitally on PS4 and PS5 on March 19th.
It looks fun.
Which looks cool. Yeah, it
But
looks cool.
do you want to drive or build?
I don't know.
I
Both
don't.
sound fun.
They both sound
Both sound like
impossible.
chaos.
Yeah.
Yeah, both sound like chaos.
I watched the clip that you sent where the guy, he drives off and he's trying to like build a road and try to catch the car as he's falling. Did you notice
Oh,
that?
yeah.
I love
No,
that.
I didn't notice that
It was
part.
pretty cool.
That sounds awesome.
He missed and then of course it crashed, but it was awesome.
That's cool. That's dope. I didn't even know you could do that. All right. Gematsu reported that publisher Axis Games will announce new titles at the New Game Plus Expo on March 4th. That Dungeon Defenders Awakened launches on PS4 on March 17th. That a Kickstarter campaign for Astral Ascent, the next game from Dark Devotion Studio, will begin on March 29th. That puzzle platformer World Splitter will release on PS4 sometime this year. That Thunderful Group will acquire German publisher and developer Head Up, who is working on a game based on a world-renowned IP, they say. That publisher Microids announced the development of an action game for consoles based on UFO robot Grindizer. What in the fuck is
What
that?
did you just say? There's a UFO?
Yeah, they're making a game based on UFO robot Grindizer. I don't know. Gematsu reported that Dark... What? What did I type? Gematsu reported that Dark Twisted Twin Stick Shooter. You think I tried to type dark ass?
You wrote dark ass.
That dark ass twisted twin stick shooter. Postal Redux will come to PS4 on March the 5th.
UFO.
So next week.
UFO robot grenade. Blah. It's an anime. That's why I don't know what the fuck it is.
Oh, okay. Good for them. Good for you guys that are excited about that, you fucking nerds. Gematsu reported that investigative digital board game Arkham Horror Mother's Embrace, nothing scarier than Mother's Embrace, Travis, will launch on PS4. Will launch on PS4 on March 23rd.
Spoiler, his mom's dead. Like, how can it be? He never had a Mother's
So it's
Embrace.
A horror game.
Oh, okay.
It's mother's dead embrace. Mother's deathly embrace.
Sounds cozy.
That Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1 and 2 are coming natively to PS5 on March 26th. Current owners of the game will have to pay a $10 upgrade fee. That sucks. Oh boy. Oh boy. This? I think I put this one on here just to. All right. Let's see. Gematsu reported, guys, that Void Terrarium. I guess that's why they did it on the back end, so you could try to understand what the hell the front part means. That Void Terrarium plus. We're going with that. We'll come to PS5 in North America on May 18th, Europe on May 21st, and Oceania on May 25th. Gematsu reported that side-scrolling action-adventure game Narita Boy, Travis's favorite game, he is a Narita Boy, will launch on PS4 on March 30th. That Jet Set Radio's spiritual successor, Bomb Rush Cyberfunk, has been delayed to 2022. Can you feel the funk?
It just sounds like a shitty DJ.
That first-person tactical shooter Star Wars Republic Commando will release on PS4 on April 6th. And finally, and mercifully, Gematsu reported that tranquil action game Stonefly has been announced for PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5 and will release sometime this summer. And that is all for the news. And I don't say that lightly because there was way too much. There's a ton of news this week. Next week, there won't be a fucking thing to talk about. And with that, I'll kick it over to Travis to crush us with this week's list of new games, of which there are a metric shit ton of those as well. So here we go. It's all yours.
Got my microphone that doesn't work. On the 22nd on PS4, we have Azure Reflections. And in this list of games, there's probably a fourth to a third of them are just easy platinums. So if it sounds silly and stupid, it's easy platinum. On the 23rd, we had Blastful, Cursed of the Dead Gods. On PS5 and 4, we have Death Tales, the sequel to DuckTales. We also have Horned Knight, Persona 5 Strikers, Taxi Chaos, which is kind of like a ripoff of Crazy Taxi, but not as good.
Sounds
And
cool.
on the 23rd, we also had We Were Here Together and We Were Here Too, which both don't look like they're any fun at all. On the 24th, on the 5 and the 4, we have Active Neurons 3, which is not about our government.
I was gonna say we need some active neurons around here, don't we?
Following that,
We need more than 3.
we have Heavy Metal Machines, Pumpkin Jack, Retrace Memories of Death, Werewolf Apocalypse, Heart of Ruin. If I'm not mistaken, that one is like a jump scare game and it looks awful.
Okay.
On the 25th, we have Airy, A Journey Beyond Time, Angry Video Game Nerd 1 and 2 Deluxe Edition, which is like an old game they remastered. Like by old, I mean like an arcade game. Following
Cool.
that, we have Bite the Bullet, Gods of Amalgast, Might Fight Federation on the 5 and the 4, and Gods of Amalgast is on the Vita. We have a Vita game, guys. If you want
Oh,
to blow your
I just
victory
noticed
horn.
that. Gosh, I want to look this up. Go ahead.
Also from the 25th, we got NASCAR Heat 5, Ping Rideau on the 5 and the 4, Spooky Chase, The Five Covens, The Lost Cube, which is about Ice Cube's lost kid. We also have Turok 2, Seeds of Evil, and the most interesting game this week to me on the 4 is Jupiter Grad, which is like about a cosmonaut, and you have like these arms with like plungers that shoot out. That's how you kind of pull yourself through the space station.
Okay.
And the guy talks to you the whole time in like in English with a terrible Russian accent. It's kind of funny. On the 26th, we have Assault on Metaltron, or Metaltron. Metaltron's probably what that says. Following that, we have Baobab's Mausoleum Grindhouse Edition, Blastful, Dungeon, and Bombs, Kata, Lin, Path of Orchids, The Child Site. The Child Site is don't bother. It's creepy as fuck. Like the gameplay, like these people are watching the game and there's like a baby. It's like it looks kind of like Chucky, but without all the things in its face. It's wild. And round up the 26th this week, we have Thunder Flash on the 5 and the 4.
What's Thunder Flash?
I looked it up and it didn't look good. I don't remember. It was that impressive. I think it was like a side scroller, kind of like a 16-bit thing. If I remember correctly.
So this Vita game, Gods of Almagest, whatever, it looks awful. What type of game is this? Okay, yeah, it's awful.
Yeah, Thunder Flash is a 30-minute platinum.
Yeah, that's awful. All right, so is that it? That's it.
That's it.
That's all for the new game releases this week. That's a ton. It's a lot. It's way more than usual. So with that, we'll start to wrap it up here. We're running out of time. We haven't said that in a while. We haven't gotten close for a long time here. So just goes to show you guys how much we had going on here. Let's talk about what we're going to be playing in the week ahead. What do you got on your mind? What's on the radar?
March the 3rd, the Manufacturers Championship comes back on GT Sport, so I'll probably do that. Probably drive for Lexus. That's who I won with today. I just like the car. It's pretty balanced. It's not hard to drive, and I don't have to think, so it's perfect. What else we got? I want to finish my Premier League season with Stevenage.
Oh yeah.
And then I want to see how much money I have going into next year. And at that point, I will have done my thing. I've gotten them from the lowest level, won the Premier League. I'll either start a new one, or I'll just, if I have a $150 million budget, I might just try to buy Ronaldo or something, and just for a year, just to say I had him. I don't know yet. And other than that, I don't know. We might blow up some more cars. I'm sure we'll play some more Outriders.
So there's a lot on my radar, but I want to finish Hitman 2 this week, which shouldn't be a problem. I'd really like to get into 3, and I'd really like to get through that second mission that everybody talks about with the murder investigation. But we'll see. John said he's going to be on this weekend, so I would like to play that Division expansion, the Warlords of New York, for the second one. I've been wanting to check that out. It's on my list. Going to continue my career on FIFA. I got the lads in the championship league. See what that's about. And then I want to check out that Remnant from the Ashes game. That'll be free on Tuesday. So I thought we might check that out at some point once we finish the Outriders demo. We're done with it. We can move over to that, and that's really about it. One thing, other thing that I am looking forward to, I haven't got to play yet, is Planet Coaster. I bought Planet Coaster for the PlayStation 5, which is, it's like Roller Coaster Tycoon basically for the console. It's supposed to be very good. It's got like an 80 something on Meta. So looking forward to checking that out. Haven't got to do it yet. Really excited about that. But I can tell you right now, it's going to be like City Skylines and some of these other ones. Like, the reason why I haven't done it yet is because when I do, it's a black hole.
Yeah, it's like
Like,
5 hours later.
Yeah, it's like, how it is. It's like you start designing a park and you're like, holy shit, it's 2 a.m. I've been doing this for 4 hours and I've got like 16 roller coasters.
It's like Prison Architect. I'm like, oh God, it's 5 a.m. There's a mafia boss in my jail. Like, what happened?
Yeah, same thing. I fucking love those games. They're so good. Yeah, I would. I don't know. One day we may have to talk about it, but the like strategy, like management games may be my favorite genre of game. Might be. I don't know. Anyway, that's a lot, but that's what I'm looking for. It's what's on my list. So we'll see how far I get. Anyway, that's it. That's all we've got this week. I just realized I forgot to give everybody the spiel, Travis, about the show here. So what better time to do it than now? So if you guys enjoyed the show, don't forget to subscribe or leave us a review or a comment on your podcast service or YouTube if you're watching there or listening there, I should say. We are normally a weekly PlayStation podcast where Travis and I get together to cover all of the week's news, rumors, new game releases, and a little bit more in the world of PlayStation. We didn't make it last week, but that's not typical. If you guys want to reach out to us, you can chat with us on Twitter at the DualSense Podcast. And if you want to find us on YouTube, you can find us at the DualSense Podcast as well. And we always post our new episodes on Monday mornings to be precise. And on YouTube, we also occasionally post new game streams and clips. I've been streaming Hitman lately, if that interests you. And sometimes Travis will throw his races up there when he's filling up to it. So check us out. Thanks for listening. You guys take care, and we will talk at you next week. Maybe Travis will have his mic cord, and maybe I'll have my PS Vita. Time will tell. We'll see. You guys take care.